Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Tuesday. It's August 11th. It's 2020. We have 12 baseball games to talk about here on today's slate, and I'm joined by my buddy Tim Tastefultides in the DFS streets. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you, Stevie?
I'm peachy, man. It's a Tuesday. Getting back to my normal weekly routine here and, just enjoying some baseball. So looking like it's going to be a pretty good slate here. So this one's interesting. I feel like Monday we had a lot of different ways to get off of some of the chalky options. It might not be as easy on this slate. So we'll talk about that as we're going here. You ready to get rocking? We have a lot of games to get through.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. We start here with the Baltimore Orioles and the Philadelphia Phillies. Alex Cobb against Zack Wheeler. Any interest here in Alex Cobb?
Alex Cobb is really BABIP dependent. He doesn't have a high K rate, and he could get away with it, but at 7,200, I think I'll pass on this big slate.
Yeah, not someone that I like either. Just kind of looking overall on the slate, he's not someone that I feel like has a ton of upside in general. So he's super cheap at 7,200 for, he has some upside at times, but, you definitely more of want a right-handed heavy lineup. You got Harper, you got Didi, you got Jay Bruce, you got a few other lefties in this lineup. So probably not going to play Cobb here. Any interest here in Zack Wheeler?
For me, with Wheeler, yeah, it's a good matchup for Wheeler, but there's just guys around him that we'll get to later in the show that are around the same price that I like a lot better. For me, it's kind of just a price thing that I just like other guys more.
He's 9,900. I like Bundy. I like Scherzer. I don't even hate maybe Mike Minor in this price range. It's just I feel like there's so many options in this range that I don't think I can pull the trigger here on Zack Wheeler. Let's talk bats. Anything standing out? Oh, go ahead.
No, his K rate just isn't quite high enough. I feel like for the price with guys like Scherzer and Bundy right there, and even guys like Minor against the Mariners, like you said, it's just I think they're just better plays around that same spot.
Yeah, I just don't see Wheeler. I don't know. Maybe when I dig into this matchup more, maybe I have more interest in Wheeler overall because I don't love really any of the bats for Baltimore at all. So maybe when I dig into the matchup, I just hate the price. But maybe we'll see. Phillies against Cobb. Any interest here in the Phillies bats?
I mean, you could always look to a guy like JT Realmuto, but I mean, he is 5,200, so that's real pricey. I mean, these guys are priced real high. Obviously, like I said, Cobb is BABIP dependent, so I mean, he's going to give up a lot of contact. I think they're priced a little too high for me.
All right, yeah, I feel like the stack's in play. You can always stack against Alex Cobb. I never
yeah, absolutely. You can definitely always stack against Alex Cobb. I totally agree with that.
But I don't see myself Harper is always an interesting one-off. McCutchen, Hoskins, they're interesting one-offs. But if I'm overall looking at this spot, I feel like it's more of a stack because Harper's expensive. Hoskins and McCutchen and these guys are super affordable. They haven't been off to the best starts to the season, but it is Alex Cobb, so you never really know what you're going to get. So the stack's in play. Braves and Yankees, Touki Toussaint against Jordan Montgomery. Any interest here in Touki Toussaint?
Toussaint's looked pretty decent, but I think against the Yankees and he's 8,100. I think that's a stay away from me.
Yeah, I think overall I think that he's a guy that is really talented. It's just he might be too early. Here's the thing with Touki Toussaint. If this lineup comes out super right-handed heavy, that is when he becomes like a large field tournament play because nobody's going to play him in general. So if this lineup comes out super right-handed heavy, like for some reason, like maybe Hicks gets the day off or something. Like I'm not uber worried about like Tachman. He's a guy that strikes out a bunch. So like if this lineup comes out super right-handed heavy, I feel like then you could take a shot on maybe like playing some Tuki Toussaint and like these large field like. There was a tournament on FanDuel on Monday that was $300K and $100K to first place. So, like, those are the types of tournaments that you play like a Tuki Toussaint and you hope that you get, like, his massive ceiling game.
Yeah, some of these GPPs are so top-heavy that you can take risks on guys like that. I'm fine with that play.
Jordan Montgomery on the other side here. We've seen a mixed bag from Montgomery, kind of coming back from injury here. Really hasn't had, like, a dominating performance. He pitched good against Boston. But really got roughed up by Philly last time out. Atlanta's a really good offense, and they have a ton of right-handed bats. I'm going to probably pass on Montgomery here.
Yeah, we haven't had much of a sample on Montgomery since 2017. I really like Ronald Acuna for the Braves. I think I'll definitely be using him in a lot of my GPP lineups tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk Braves hitters because I'm much more interested in the Braves side, like Acuna, Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, or like they might play d'Arnaud and Flowers here. Austin Riley, like there's a lot. Adam Duvall, there's a ton of power righties that can beat Montgomery here.
I even really like Freddie, with the short porch at Yankee Stadium, 315 down the line. I know, Montgomery's a lefty, but, I really, I wouldn't mind Freddie at all tomorrow.
Yeah, because if you're not really expecting him to go deep, I think that is definitely, in play. The thing, okay, so anytime, like this is the same conversation we have with the Brewers all the time. Anytime you're looking at a potential stack against this Yankees team, your stack has to go off early because if it's a close game and you get to that bullpen, your stack's not doing anything in the 8th or 9th against the Yankees bullpen. I hate to tell you, like back in the day when Rivera was here, early days of DFS, like it was always the worry of like stacking against it because you weren't getting anything late.
That's right. And, I think that's why I would rather just take a guy like Acuna and just take, one or two bats rather than a full stack.
Yankees bats. I respect the talent from Tuki Toussaint. I think he has some really good stuff against righties. This might be a day that like I just pass on the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of Yankee exposure.
But you like look at the prices too. Like Judge, 6,300. I know he's just on a insane stretch. But like DJ LeMahieu's expensive. Urshela's expensive. Gary Sanchez is one for $1 million. Like we're not getting any discount on the guys that I really want to play here.
Yeah, I think this is a spot where you just if the Yankees beat you, they beat you. I mean, it's obviously they're an extremely talented group. But I just don't see myself paying for these guys tomorrow.
All right, moving on. Sorry, I was thrown off. Like we had a package. It's 9:00 at night, and like a package delivered to the house, and like it was throwing me off. Cubs and Indians. John Lester, Adam Plutko. Listen, John Lester. I've respected the fact that like he's going to pitch to contact now, and like he's trying to throw ground balls, and I get it. Like that's fine. Like. But there is zero chance that John Lester makes any of my lineups at 9,200 against Cleveland.
Yeah, that he is priced way too high to even consider tomorrow. I won't be touching Lester at all.
Yeah, this is the spot. This is the spot you just fade him. Like you don't have to play Cleveland. That's fine. You can just avoid this whole situation, and I get that. It's just. I'm not playing Lester, he has an 11% K rate on the season, 21%, since the start of last season, but 11% on the season. He's pitching to contact. Adam Plutko on the other side. Plutko has slight strikeout ability against righties, but overall, this is a 5.3 xFIP, 17% K guy that most of the time throws fly balls.
Yeah, I mean, he is priced pretty nice, but there are other guys down here at the bottom that I prefer. I think he's okay if you wanted to stack up cores and maybe throw in Scherzer, but I don't think he's going to be a primary play for me.
No, there's like no way that I'm playing him in the spot. Like no way. There's not a lot of options down here today, but give me Anthony Banda at minimum set like 5,200, the cheapest guy on the slate. If I'm just gonna go on and full on punt down here, maybe like Lindblom, like one of these guys that maybe get there. Plutko doesn't have the K stuff. Cubs are interesting today. Like, I don't think the Cubs are going to be like a popular stack. Plutko's not going to go out here and blow the ball by any of these heavy hitters like Schwarber or these power guys. What are your thoughts here on the Cubbies?
I mean, you could always go with Schwarber. I'm kind of waiting for them to have an explosion game. There's Ian Happ too down at the bottom that people tend to not play. I really like Anthony Rizzo against Plutko. I don't think the Cubs are going to be a primary play for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually like this might be like we're gonna get through the stack a little bit more, or like through the slate a little bit more, but I like stacking against Adam Plutko, so we'll see. We'll see. As far as Cleveland goes, like you can always play like Ramirez or Santana, either Santana or Reyes or Luplow against like left-handed pitching.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even a guy like Santana. But I think Lester's obviously not a guy that we're going to pitch, but I don't think we actually have to pick on him either.
And like we get so like concentrated on like ownership sometimes. Like if there was ever a day, Monday was the day that we thought like Arizona was going to be like this massive chalk, and they were still in like the teens. And like
I was stunned about that, Stevie.
So like we get so caught up in ownership sometimes. Like sometimes you just have to play the numbers and the stats that kind of stand out. So. White Sox and Tigers, it's Geo Gonzalez against Tyler Anderson, or Alexander, sorry. Any interest here in Geo Gonzalez?
Not particularly. I mean, you get what you get out of Geo. I mean, it's the walks that are the tilting part about Geo. He's a so-so pitcher in a plus matchup, but I don't think that tomorrow's the spot for him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think unless he comes in at like sub 5% ownership, then maybe you can roll the dice on him a little bit. Because like there are a lot of strikeouts here. This team's a little bit better against left-handed pitching than they are against right-handed pitching. But overall, strikeouts wise, like we're looking at a projected lineup with the lowest guy at 19.5% strikeout rate. So the upside is certainly okay for Geo. Tyler Alexander on the other slate here. This guy is very good against lefties and has nothing for righties. Like he just doesn't have that out pitch against right-handed hitters. And as a lefty, usually lefties are good with a strikeout pitch that have a 95 plus fastball with a good changeup. And like he doesn't have either one of those things.
Yeah. And Tim Anderson, I believe, is going to be back in the lineup. So
he's supposed to be back. Yep.
Yep. So that's really going to hurt Alexander's equity tomorrow. Story about Alexander is that he did set the record for consecutive strikeouts in a relief appearance with 9. So he definitely mowed down the Reds the other day. So
good for him. He has a cool last name. That's the name of my son. So that's the only thing he has going for him. Listen, when I'm looking at the White Sox here, Anderson's coming back. You already mentioned him. They have Jimenez. They got E5. They have Grandal. It'd be interesting to see, like, do they catch Grandal or do they let James McCann face the lefty? Assuming that E5 is back. If E5 is still out, like he was available as a pinch hitter on Monday, so maybe like he's back in the lineup here. If that, like, they'll have to decide which catcher they're going to play because McCann has been playing a little bit with Grandal. So
yeah, the White Sox could get so right-handed heavy. I mean, this is, I think, one of the best, I guess cheaper stacks you could do on the slate.
Because you got Luis Robert, he's been really solid against lefties, and he's fast. So, like, he gives you some stolen base upside. So, Chicago's a team that I'm definitely looking at here, but don't play the lefties. If they even have a lefty in the lineup, they might not even have a lefty in the lineup.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think they will.
not a good spot for Alexander. Any interest in the Detroit Bats?
I think they're a pretty easy pass. I mean, you can always go with a guy like CJ Crone, I
He got
guess.
hurt Monday.
Oh, he
So he
did.
might
I
not even
didn't.
be in the lineup.
Oh,
I
okay, I
just
didn't
read
know that.
that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, with him out of the lineup, that hurts quite a bit. No,
That
I think.
actually helps Geo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he hurt it left knee injury or something during Monday's game, so he might be out. So that actually probably bumps up Geo.
Yeah.
You could play maybe Jonathan Scope as a one-off, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are guys that you could use for a potential punt for if you really needed salary relief against Geo.
Nationals and Mets, Max Scherzer, Rick Porcello. I will say, check Weather Edge on this game. Like, I looked at Weather Edge when I was like doing my research, and like I had GPP tags in Lineup HQ on Monday, and like I ended up writing up Washington because of the weather, and they're making me and Kevin Roth look good because they have 14 runs right now in the sixth inning. So, so check the weather in this one. Make sure like Roth. I messaged Roth like privately, and he's like. It was like literally perfect hitting weather. So, listen, let's talk Scherzer. Left the last start after one inning with a hamstring injury. If Max says he's good, I trust him. Like, there's no reason to not trust Max Scherzer. This is a dude that will go 100 plus pitches when he's pitching well. It's not even close to me. Like, he's the number one option on this slate. Pay up for Max Scherzer. Like, am I crazy for trusting this, or should we just this is will be what we're doing?
I mean, absolutely, you have to pitch Max tomorrow. I mean, he's only 900 more than Zack Wheeler. He should be, I don't know, 1,800, 2,000 more than Wheeler. I mean, that I feel like Max is way too cheap.
Yep. Yeah, like maybe he's priced it down a little bit just because of like potentially
And
leaving.
yeah, and I think that people might be scared of that. But like you said, they wouldn't send him out there. He wouldn't go back out there if he wasn't ready to go.
They wouldn't. They not in a 60-game season. They're not going to risk anybody getting
exactly. Nope. I mean, this team they want to go back to the playoffs. They want to go back to the World Series. They're not going to be sending him out this early if he wasn't 100%.
The other side of this game, we got Rick Porcello, really low strikeout rate. 12-game slate. I'm going to pass on Porcello.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like a guy like Trey Turner tomorrow, Juan Soto. Yeah, I think guys like that would be great against Porcello.
Let me fire up that Weather Edge tool in the morning and see this game looking good again, and I'll go right back to Washington. They were really low owned. Like, you and I were talking before the show. Trey Turner was under 10% in like every tournament that I had him in. So, listen, Trevor Story ended up hitting a home run already too, but like Trey Turner pivot off a Story is still looking really good. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Mets bats, I'm going to pass on the Mets. Like, you can always try to like get a home run hunter type of play from, when you're facing Scherzer, but like that's all it is. Like it's one of those like tournament plays again, like one of those large field tournament plays where you want a guy like under 5%.
Listen, Max is probably going to give up one home run tomorrow because that's what he does. But there's no point in trying to find who that guy is, in my opinion.
I don't know who it's going to be. Like, you don't know who it's going to be. Like, you're just taking a shot in the dark at like who it's going to be. Like, all the batted ball profile in the world says play Pete Alonso. So maybe that's the guy. Like, Pete Alonso crushes fast fastballs. Max Scherzer has a 94 to 96 mile an hour fastball on average. That's the guy if you're going to play someone. There you go. Tampa and Boston. I'm seeing two different reports. I know it's Martin Perez for the Red Sox, but I've seen multiple reports for who's going to start this game for Tampa. It sounds like it's going to be Anthony Banda starting. We don't know how deep he'll go.
I also maybe saw that it could be Diego Castilla.
But he's a reliever, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think he might be the opener.
Yeah, so he might open and then this is just we're gonna put a question mark. Probably not gonna play whoever it is, to be honest. Like I said, like if you want to play like a Banda as like the cheapest guy on the slate just to get there. The Red Sox were actually hitting the ball a little bit on Tuesday or Monday, and like Sunday JD was making hard contact, so maybe this is the spot to get on the Red Sox. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean they're bound to go off. I don't know if there's a lot of loaded offenses on the slate. I'd like to see exactly what the Rays plan on doing for pitching, but I mean Banda, JD, I think JD could easily, he's a lefty masher, so I got no issue with JD.
Yeah, like we saw Anthony Banda with the Diamondbacks. I'm pretty sure it was 2016 or 2017. So like we've seen him a little bit, and he was more of a fly ball guy, but he didn't give up a ton of home runs. So he ran a little good. But yeah, like on the Red Sox side of things, I don't love Martin Perez. I like lefties against Tampa. Like I guess that is a slight argument to play Martin Perez. He's 6,100, and like we were talking about, like in this price range, like he just put up 19 points against this team in Tampa. If you could tell me right now I could get 19 points again at 6,100, I'd jump all over it. But he is, I guess, boom bust, maybe.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely somebody that you could use. There are a couple people that I like coming up that I prefer, but I mean he certainly is viable.
He's not a bad option. Like if you want to play him here, I wouldn't talk you off of it. He's in play at 6,100. Tampa Bats. Here's the thing. They can kind of like Diaz, Jose Martinez, Renfroe, like Margot, like they can go like Zanino. They have a lot of right-handed bats that they could throw at Martin Perez here.
Yeah, I mean I actually really wouldn't mind a little Renfroe because Perez just doesn't strike anybody out.
Zanino too. Zanino's another guy that has a massive K rate against lefties, like that has power. So like maybe those guys, but Renfroe one-off is always one of my favorites against left-handed pitching. Like I played him with the Padres. Anybody that's new to the podcast, like this guy is a guy that's been a staple on this podcast for years against left-handed pitching. So Boston, if it is going to be Bandy, like you play the righties here.
Xander's
Pollock.
really heating up too.
Yep.
So
JD hit a home run finally.
Yeah.
About time. But yeah, I think you target more of the righties here. Vasquez got the day off on Monday, so he should be back in the lineup. Pilar could potentially bat leadoff again. So I think you definitely look at some of these right-handed bats for the Red Sox here. Twins and Brewers, Matt Whistler against Josh Lindblom. I'm gonna mess that up all year. Matt Whistler, old Atlanta Braves guy. Any interest in him?
Absolutely not. No.
He's not gonna be pitching deep, right? Like, didn't they move into the bullpen? Is this like an opener situation?
And I believe then it's Smeltzer is also going to pitch.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I like playing pitchers against Milwaukee, but yeah, not Devin Smeltzer. Like, if we get news that like Whistler's going to pitch deep and like actually like in a starter role here, I don't hate him, to be honest. This Milwaukee lineup it's a hot mess.
Yeah, I think Whistler's just going to be the opener.
Yeah. Well, they had Alcala as like the opener on DraftKings, so we'll have to see what this looks like. Any interest in Josh Lindblom here?
I mean, I think he's decent. I think he's kind of like in the same boat as Perez. That if you're playing a large field GPP, he's worth a shot. But I mean, the Twins are just so loaded. I don't see myself doing it.
Yeah, this team is so good. And like Josh Lindblom, he's come back from the KBO and he's been really, really solid against righties and he's pitched well. But this team is loaded. And like he's really had some struggles with lefties. Like he's going to face Kepler, Polanco, Rosario, Marwin Gonzalez, like lefties that can beat you. So I'm probably going to pass on him here. Like I've used him a bunch already to start the season. Like he pitched really well against the White Sox last time out, had 7 strikeouts, but White Sox are not the Twins. Hey, the Twins lefties are in play here, and if you're playing to the lefties, like you throw in Cruz or Sano to make it a full on 5-man stack.
Yeah, absolutely. Cruz is just a mash of both sides.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting spot. Any interest in the Brewers bats?
I think they're going to be a pass for me.
Listen, it is Smeltzer, but man, I can't do it. I really can't. Like Yelich is at that price where he's super playable. Maybe you play Yelich.
Yeah, I mean,
one-off, but
you do get a little bit of a discount on Yelich, but I mean, it's just I think with such a big slate, it's just I don't think I can one-off him tomorrow.
he's hot though too. Like home runs in 3 of the last 5 games. Like he's starting to warm up at the plate, and that's the time to usually play him. So he's cheap enough. I think you can play him as a one-off here. But we'll have to see what the pitching situation looks like. Obviously. Coors Field, we got Arizona at Colorado. Zach Galland against Kyle Freeland. Let's start here with Zach Galland. I'm a huge Zach Galland fan. I think this kid is super talented. I said this so much last year when he was at the Marlins. I still think that trade was so dumb on their part. Just too much talent to give up, in my opinion. Any interest here in Zach Galland going into Coors?
I mean, listen, he's a fabulous leverage play, but I mean, it's just personally, I play single entries and 3 max GPPs, so I won't be going there. But if you're playing one of those huge GPPs and he's going to come in at 2%, I think that's great.
His second game with Arizona last year after he got traded from the Marlins was in Coors, and 4 innings, 9 hits, 2 home runs. Nothing good. 3 strikeouts. It was his second lowest strikeout performance on the season. His second lowest strikeout performance that like he actually pitched deep. Like there was a game against Washington when he first got called up that he didn't pitch deep. So like we say this all the time, stuff just doesn't move as much in Coors as it does other places. And like this is a dude that uses a cutter, uses a curveball. Like he uses stuff that needs break. So I'm going to probably pass on Zach Galland. But I can't wait to play him. It feels like I haven't really had a chance to like play him yet this season. Like he's had some really tough matchups and been in some like tough situations. Like he looked really good against Houston and the Dodgers. Like he's had good starts. It's just I'm not playing him in Coors here. And then on the other side of this game, Freeland. That's a simple, easy pass for me.
Yeah, absolutely not for me.
Low strikeout guy against in Coors. Like good to see. Like Arizona's prices went up a little bit. But not enough, nowhere near enough.
Not enough, though. I can't believe they did it 2 days in a row. I mean, I think that's so bad.
It's really bad. Escobar is 3,900. Andy Young is 3,900. He should be in the lineup. If they catch Kelly, he's under 4K. Nick Ahmed, who has hit left-handed pitching for years, is 4K. Like, imagine if they give, like, Kevin Cron a start at 3,800. Like, Arizona – but here's the thing. They were on a 9-game slate where they were clearly supposed to be the chalk. They were under 20%.
Yeah, and this is a 12-game slate, so ownership's going to be even more spread out. Still, though, I mean, these prices are really, really bad.
You go right back to the well in cash games. You just go right back to the well. You go right back. You play all these guys again. Like, it's crazy how easy it's going to be to play. Like LeCastro, he hit second against the lefty last time they faced a lefty. So like,
and LeCastro and Young are both 2,500 on FanDuel. So I mean, so you can play both those guys with Scherzer, no problem.
I'm home run chasing on the Rockies side. I don't know if I'm going to full stack them. I respect how good and talented Zack Galland is. Like, I think you home run chase. Maybe you play like two or three of these guys. You don't. I don't 5-man stack the Rockies in this spot. Not at their prices. Like if they were cheap, like Arizona, I think it's super easy to say, hey, just play them. But like Arenado's 62, Story 61, Blackman 6K, Dahl's 5,500. Like you're home run chasing on the Rockies today.
Yeah, I mean, you can. They're just so expensive compared to the other side of this game, and Galland is so much better of a pitcher than Freeland. So yeah, the Rockies are great always in cores, but I think they're just way too expensive.
Seattle at Texas. Marco Gonzalez against Mike Minor. Still waiting. Like, this game is just getting started on Monday night. We're recording Monday night, so I'm still like, I'm really going to be paying attention to see like what the roof open does, because we really haven't had many games in Texas with the roof open with the new ballpark. So like I'm going to wait patiently and see what this looks like with the roof open, and like how much run production is in this game. Either way, I don't really have a ton of interest in Marco Gonzalez. He's not a big K guy.
He isn't a big K guy, but he does a really good job of suppressing hard contact. So I think I like him more than Perez or Lindblom. And he's only 6,600. So I think he's above those two other guys for me. And also he's above, a guy like Geo.
All right. No, I get it. That's fair. And like Texas, they have a lot of left-handed bats that they leave in there against lefties too.
That's the thing. I think Marco can neutralize their best lefty power guys. So I think for me, Marco is he's just my preferred guy in that between 6 and 8 range.
No, it's fine. I have a counter argument for Joey Gallo, but we're going to talk Mike Minor first. Any interest here in Minor?
I mean, I prefer him over guys like Wheeler and guys like who else was it? I don't know. I like him more than Wheeler, but I just think he's just too expensive, and it's going to be hard to pay up at both spots. He is 7,500 over on FanDuel, which is pretty nice, but I just think it's too easy to pitch Max over there.
Yeah, so it's so interesting. It's so hot in Texas. I cannot believe they opened the roof. But we'll see. I think Minor is a really interesting play. I don't know if I like him more than Wheeler. Like that. These are the guys that like I'm kind of on the fence on. Like,
well, the big thing for me is Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy is the guy, right?
It's like I'm not sure if I like Minor more than Bundy.
Well, I like Bundy more than both of those guys, but I think I like Wheeler more than Minor right now, and that's kind of why I was hesitant when I started to like think about Wheeler more. But like when you're looking at Seattle, Nola, he's always a guy that I like to play, and nobody plays him. Like I think Nola's in play here as far as the bats go, but I probably won't stack Seattle by any means.
No, I won't have a lot of exposure to this game other than I feel like Marco.
Texas side of things, any interest in the Texas bats?
No, like I said, I think I'm going to be quite overweight on Marco, so I think I'll be avoiding all the Texas bats.
See, I think Joey Gallo is probably one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate, just because Marco Gonzalez, like you said, will take some power away from these guys. But anytime you get a 13% K rate, a guy against Joey Gallo, like Gallo is just a guy when he makes contact and he hits it hard, it's either going to be a double or a home run. Like this dude doesn't hit singles. So he has a 449 ISO with a 40% K rate against left-handed pitching since the start of last season. So I like him against Marco Gonzalez. Profile-wise, this is the type of guy that I want to play Joey Gallo against because he's not going to blow it by him So if he makes contact on like an 87, 88 mile an hour pitch from Gonzalez, like Gallo can take anybody deep, but you definitely like him more against the guys that don't strike people out. So I really like Gallo here, but I don't like it's a one-off. Like you don't have to stack Texas against Mark Gonzalez. Like for some reason, if the roof is open, take a shot. These guys are cheap.
Right, and and if at 6,600, if Marco gives up a couple runs, it's not the end of your day. So
Right.
you could absolutely play a couple one-offs from Texas. I don't hate that at all.
Giants and Astros. Tyler Anderson against Brandon Belak. Any interest here in Anderson?
No, not at all. No, not for me.
No, low strikeout guy. Lefties and righties under just overall around 19%. Not a huge K guy. So going to pass on Anderson here against Houston, a team that doesn't strike out anyway. There's going to be a lot of contact in this spot. And then Brandon Belak on the other side of this game, I don't know what to do with. Like, he's 7,500. He threw 82 pitches against Arizona in his last start. Just really more like when I watched some of that start, and it's like he was trying to hit bats instead of throw the ball past people. And like, it's really hard to make an argument on a 12-game slate for someone that's going to hit bats instead of strike people out.
True, but this guy is the Astros number 7 prospect, and
Yep.
so he might be a year early, but I think this matchup is so soft, and I think the big thing with him is his control. But if he can get that kind of under control against the Giants, then I think this could actually be a really good spot for him.
The walks worry me. Like
the walks worry me too. Yeah. But I'm just the matchup is so good. I think he's got to make the list for your GPP teams.
I think I can agree. Like the swinging strike rate suggests a lot more than the strikeout rate. So maybe some positive regression coming in that aspect. So, any Giants bats that you like here?
Not for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to play many Giants this year at all.
I have stacks of them everywhere on Monday. By everywhere, I play on 3 sites, and I play 1 to 3 teams on each site. So when I say everywhere, I have exposure to them on at least one team on every site. So, Yaz is always a guy, but at 5,900, I think too much on this slate. I liked it a lot more because McCullers was like 23% projected ownership on Monday. So like that's why I got exposure to the Giants.
Yeah, it's a really good leverage play.
Any interest in the Astros bats? It's not working out, by the way, right now yet. McCullers actually looks really good to start the game. But anyway.
I'm a huge Alex Bregman guy, but I think that the prices are just so high that I think I'll probably pass. Is Springer back? Is Springer back yet?
He's banged up. I don't like it. I'm pretty sure it's a day-to-day thing. He was taking BP Monday is the last report that came out on him.
Yeah, because he's under 5K, and I do really like that price for him if he's back.
I know Jordan Alvarez is getting close to. I can't wait. Love that guy. Listen, here's the thing about like this matchup for the Astros. They are an interesting 5-man stack because there's going to be a ton of contact here. Like, they're a team that makes a ton of contact. Anderson doesn't throw the ball by anybody. Again, like I keep saying this about lefties. This dude throws in the 90s. He doesn't throw in the mid-90s or high 90s. Like, lefties that throw in the mid-90s against a right-handed heavy team like the Astros is in trouble. So I think the Astros as a stack is in play. I think there's going to be a lot of contact made in this game. It really just is like, what's going to happen? Is the contact going to be home run contact, or is the contact going to be singles and doubles? So, I think they're a stack I have written down on this slate.
Yeah, and if Springer's back, you can get him, Gurriel and Correa all for under 5K, which is absolutely affordable. So I really do like that.
Athletics and Angels. We got Mike Fiers against Dylan Bundy. Any interest here in Fiers?
Absolutely not. Not for me, no.
No, I'm going to pass on Mike Fiers too. Really just not showing that strikeout stuff anymore, getting towards the end of his career. Bundy, like we're seeing a completely different Dylan Bundy. Change of scenery has been great for him so far. New pitching coach, I'm guessing, working with these guys. Like it was Seattle last time out, but a complete game 107 pitch outing against any team is impressive nowadays. So Dylan Bundy, we just keep going back to the well on him here. And, like I've said, this is always a spot where, this team is really beatable more against righties than they are against lefties.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd see Dylan Bundy within $1,100 of Max Scherzer. So to me, that's just crazy. But I mean, he's been paying it off, and he went against the same Oakland team and put up 28 DK against them. So I mean, I guess he's viable, but it's just I feel like it's going to be really hard to pay for two expensive pitchers tomorrow. So yeah, I guess you could if you're worried about Max's hamstring, you could pivot to a guy like Bundy.
In cash games, I think you try to play both of them because there'll be a cheap catcher that pops up, and Arizona is so cheap that I feel like you're not going to sacrifice much. I think cash games, you probably end up with 4 or 5 Arizona bats in both of those guys. So on DraftKings anyway, but we'll see how it all kind of plays out. I'm just saying it seems like a spot that with Arizona's pricing, it's freaking too easy. Let's just be honest. It's just too easy to make these expensive pitchers work. So let's talk bats. Anything on Oakland standing out to you?
No, I don't think I'll be touching Oakland tomorrow.
Yeah, probably a stay away spot for me too. On paper, I don't really love this spot outside of, maybe Olsen, but on the Angels side of things, I think you can make a strong argument for a 3 or 4 man or even a 5-man Angel stack against Fires because he doesn't typically strike people out. And Mike Trout's going to hit a home run against him. He profiles amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, but I mean, tomorrow, especially against Mike Fires, I would definitely try to be overweight on him.
Yeah, Fires has been reverse splits for years now, and Trout,
I love Rendon tomorrow too.
Yeah, then you throw in La Stella or Ohtani and Goodwin or Pujols, you can make a Angel stack here for sure.
Yeah, they're one of my preferred, non-core stacks.
All right, make sure I write that down. Padres and Dodgers, Garrett Richards, Ross Stripling. Any interest here in Richards?
Nope, not. That's an easy cross off for me.
Listen, this is the guy we expected that thought we were going to see on Monday. I've already kind of talked about this situation on yesterday's podcast. Love Dodgers again. Same reasoning that I said yesterday. Ross Stripling. Stripling's been, solid, since last season. And there are some strikeouts here. Any interest here in Stripling?
See, Stripling's to me more of my SB2 cash type play. I know the Padres are better now, but they're still strike out an above average rate. And Stripling's got a much bigger leash now from Dave Roberts. So I really like Stripling.
I could see that. I was just saying, I think it's really simple to make that work. That's all I was saying, Bundy and Scherzer. But
absolutely, no, it is. I just for me, I think Stripling's my SB2 cash guy as of right now.
Yeah, I like Stripling. I went all in on Dustin May on every team that I built on DraftKings on 2-pitcher sites. So, listen, I think Stripling's definitely in play. He has really good numbers across the board against righties and lefties. He's going to give up a couple runs here. It's just I think he does enough outside of giving up a couple runs where he pays off this price.
I just think his floor is so his floor is so stable in this matchup, I think.
Any bats here for the Padres that you like?
No, not for the Padres. Not for me, no.
All right, I'm going to throw a name out there just because he's actually hitting the ball really, really well, and he's 2,300, and that's Jake Cronenworth.
Yep.
I don't know if he can keep going at this pace. Dude's hitting 350. He's 2,300 anybody that's hitting 350 should not be 2,300. Hits like 6th or 7th in this lineup most nights, but I'll take the price. Like I think he's super cheap for a guy that's got at least one hit in 8 of 10 games.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's the type of player that you need if you want to pay up, for, 2 expensive pitchers.
Yeah, like good thing like you can play. Oh, you can't play Kettle Marte in the outfield anymore. Just kidding. So you have to choose like, do you want Kettle Marte or Cronenworth? It's all about making the lineup work overall. So, hey, listen, the Dodgers. I said this yesterday. Richards gives up so much hard contact, and the Dodgers have so much power, and they hit so many fly balls. Like, I'm going right back to the well on loading up on the Dodgers on this slate.
You and I both love the Dodgers every single night. Don't forget about a guy like AJ Pollock, because I think Richards is a pretty split neutral guy, and Pollock's only 3,500, usually bats around 6th, and then there's obviously guys like Jock and Mookie and Bellinger.
Yeah, like just load up on this spot. This is such a good spot. So, let's play the morning grind game. I feel like we got through those games so quick today. It's nice. Morning grind game under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Under 8K?
Yep.
Stripling.
All right. I could have wrote that down. I figured that's who you're gonna take. I don't like a lot of these guys at all. Just because this team, I don't even want to take him. Give me Perez to get exactly 6, just because Tampa strikes out so much against left-handed pitching. He probably doesn't get there though. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust at the top today?
Over 8K. Oh. Well, that's easy. Is that too easy? There's 2 Lester.
All right. I'm going to go Fires.
Yeah, that's the other one.
There was 2 options there for me. Like, those guys are instant cross-offs for me. Like, Tuki Tasan, as we were going, he makes a little bit more sense for tournaments. So, over 4K, not in cores to hit a home run. Who do you got?
I guess I'll take the easy route. Actually, I'll go Acuna.
All right. I like that one. I've already said it. I love Joey Gallo today. I think Joey Gallo goes yard against Marco Gonzalez. Under 4K, not in cores to get 2 hits. Usually we don't have to worry about people in cores being under 2K and getting 2 hits, but seeing that the Arizona Diamondbacks are free again, we have to worry about it.
I think I'm going to go with AJ Pollock.
I like that call. You mentioned, a little bit of reverse splits or splits neutral from Richards. That's definitely the case. So I like that call. I was looking through this list and trying to find someone and was struggling to find someone. Give me Cronenworth at 2,300 because I just said his name and I can't think of anybody else right now. So. Give me a stack to score 6 or more runs on the slate.
I'm gonna go the Angels, assuming that we can't pick people from cores.
Nah, you can't stack cores. That's too easy.
So then Angels.
Let's see. There's so many stacks I like on this slate. I said Dodgers yesterday. I don't want to go Dodgers 2 days in a row. Give me the Cubs. I think the Cubs break out of their little slump, and they big game from the Cubs today. So. Any over/under or any money line or anything standing out to you? We only have like 2 or 3 of them posted as of right now. So
I haven't seen any yet.
The Braves, the Yankees are a -177. The over/under is 10. The Orioles over/under is 9, and Phillies, like Zack Wheeler, is a huge favorite. Cubs are a dog. Like it's easy right there. We're both going to take it. It's the only line that we have. The Cubs money line. Cubs plus 130.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, I would be okay with that.
I'm going to lock that in as my sharp side lock like right now. That's awesome. We're just going to take it. We're a combined effort today. Cubs plus 130. Like I just said the Cubs to score 6 or more, so I feel like I had to. So all right, Tim, we're going to get out of here. Any final thoughts before we do?
No, I'm ready to go. Thank you so much, Stevie.
Thanks for joining me. That's going to wrap it up here for Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow talking some more baseball. Hope everyone has a great night. Good luck in your contest, and we'll see you then.